Efendim sırada gene ufak bir videomuz var. Hep birlikte izleyelim. Daha sonra şefimizi davet edelim.
İçim hep dolar böyle. Şimdi seni buldum ya. Olur da ben düşersem güvendiğim senle olunca sımsıcak bir dokunuş gibi gelir. Gel de gülümseme.
Evet, sıradaki panelimiz Michelin ve Michelin Yeşil Yıldızı'na sahip Venissa Restoran'ın iki önemli şefi. Chiara Pavan ve Francesco Brutto sahneye gelecekler. Panelin moderatörlüğünü de yemek, şarap ve seyahat yazarı Kaja Sajovic yapacak. Panelimizin konusu The Green Heart of Venice. Kendilerini alkışla sahneye davet ediyoruz. Hoş geldiniz, bienvenuti. Spero che finora tutto bene. Also, anche io molto piacere.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi in the middle. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Before we start, I want you to watch the video of Venissa, this very special place in Venice where Chiara and Francesco work. So, can we have the video, please?
The first time we see it.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so the topic of this year's Gastromasa is legacy. Now, your restaurant is located in Venice, arguably one of the most famous, most visited cities in the world, a city where legacy plays a big part. Venissa is definitely rooted in Venice, but it's also very progressive. I feel like you're trying to take Venice to the future, sustainable future for a sinking city that is also one of the most fragile cities in the world. How do you tackle this balance?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very fragile place. It's considered by scientists and journalists a climate change hotspot. That means a place where the effects of climate change are more visible. And we faced four very big effects in the last 10 years, like the flood of 2019, like loss of biodiversity in the sea, and we had a severe drought in 2022. We lost many trees, and also, and last but not the least, the blue crab invasion. So what we are doing, we don't want to ignore with our way of cooking this kind of events. On the contrary, we want to underline this kind of events, but we want also to keep a positive attitude. So it means using the ingredients that we have in our present, so we don't look for the ingredients that we don't have anymore, like, I don't know, eels, cuttlefish, they are not present anymore in the lagoon. We are using what we have, like playing with that, like with creativity, and like telling the story of this change with a sort of positive attitude. So that's what we are trying to do.
What are some of the biggest challenges working in Venice, and what are some of the biggest rewards working in a city like that?
You know, we live in a small island outside Venice. It's like 30 minutes from Venice. And so every single move that we have to make is by boat, not with car. And so it's like a change of mentality. And so it's quite difficult. But at the same time, we are in a place that everybody in the world wants to come. And so we are very happy because a lot of friends come in Venice, even if it's a little bit overcrowded. But we love to get in contact with the rest of the world in our small island, and it's a good thing.
You talk about a small island, and I know you both struggle living on such a small island. I mean, it is just a boat ride away from Venice, but it often feels very lonely there in Mazzorbo and Burano. There's a lot of talk about mental health when it comes to chefs. Usually it's related to, you know, long working hours and stress in the kitchen. But for you, this isolation plays a part as well, no?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to live in the island. There's literally nothing to do. There's not even a bar. But at the same time, you are in Venice. And if you like art or if you're passionate about nature as well, you can enjoy that. But I have to say that the problem is not the island itself. Maybe it's the difficult for people living in Venice to live in Venice, because every year we have more and more tourists and visitors and less services and I don't know, apartments for who lives in Venice. And so maybe the problem is Venice itself, living in Venice. But at the same time, we try to give a lot of I don't know, we try to transmit our passion to the guys working with us, and at the same time we give them 2 days and a half off so they can go out and from the island and enjoy the life. That's what we try to do. We are quite happy with our staff, so, and we travel a lot.
A lot of chefs like to use sustainability as their selling point, even though sometimes they only have like 2 pots of basil behind the restaurant. I know you two pretty well. I know how you work, and for me, you're one of the best examples of genuine sustainable practices, especially with your dedication to using invasive species. Do you get frustrated sometimes when you see everything that passes under the guise of sustainability these days in the restaurant world?
Well, let's say a little bit worried about that, because sustainability is becoming a prize, an award to get, and because of Michelin Green Star. And so a lot of chefs focus in how can I get that award instead of embracing a good way to behave in the restaurant. And so we really needed the focus on sustainability to exit the consumeristic pattern of 90s. But now we have to make a step further and understand what means be sustainable at the restaurant, that is not have 2 basil pots on the window. And so let's hope.
Let's talk a little bit about invasive species. You experiment a lot with them, be the super invasive and omnipresent blue crab, or jellyfish, Your philosophy is basically eat the problem, and you have done a lot of work in that area. Do you feel you have made an impact, perhaps especially when it comes to Italy? Do you feel like you moved a few chefs to turn into a greener direction, perhaps?
Well, I don't know. It's not it's not me who have to say that. But yeah, we've been working with blue crabs for many years before the peak of the invasion, which was last summer. And we have communicated that a lot before the last year. So when that happened, I was called, you were with us, Kaja, so you know very well, we were together. I was called to talk in television, radio, and everywhere because we were kind of the first to emphasize and use this kind of ingredient. So maybe what happened is that when the peak arrived last year, the other restaurants, other cooks in Venice were kind of ready to use this kind of ingredient. So they use that. They use it in a certain way. Let's use it. So I know, for example, this year, there's a chef, a female chef, Silvia Rosas, will participate, San Pellegrino young chef, with the blue crab itself. And she's from Venice. I mean, she's from Spain, but living in Venice. And she asked me, I really appreciate your job. I will use it. You will give me some advice, you know. So, yeah, something happened, I'm sure.
Was there an invasive species you tried working with and it just really didn't work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Menopsis lady. It's like a kind of jellyfish that is not a jellyfish, and it's called sea walnut. We try to cook, we try to freeze, we try to fry, we try to steam, and in any case it melted and became water.
Yeah, impossible to use
so
it.
it's impossible.
And that it's very, very invasive and very dangerous because it's, it's kind of take off the oxygen to the sea, but nothing to do with that.
One thing I really like about Venissa is that it's so different, like not just to other Italian places, but in general. There's a very unique style to it. It's easily recognizable in a way, and I think this is so precious at a time when a lot of fine dining places are kind of like, déjà vu, So, but like any Michelin star place, I'm sure you have been told, you need to change this or that, you need to use more of that and less of that. You need to use different kinds of wines. In this world, where there's like a Michelin crowd that wants that, you have the 50 best crowd that expects that, and then you have the local clientele also perhaps wanting something completely different. How have you managed to stay so authentic and so you?
It's a funny question. I mean, I don't know. We
don't
are
give
like
up.
we are like that. We are what we are. I have to say that we are not really in search of other stars or I don't know classifications. It's not our goal. It's just we try to do what we like, and above all, we try to do what people like, what our guests like. And yeah, our way of cooking, our way of our hospitality evolved in this last year, and we tried really to cook what they like and what we like. I don't know, and then everything is changing so fast. The classifications are changing so fast that we are not in search of accolades. We just want to do what we like, or not. Yeah.
Now, Venissa is staying true to its philosophy also when it comes to wine, all coming from small producers, low intervention. Now, my personal belief is that for any restaurant that prides itself as sustainable, also the wine program should follow that philosophy. Francesco, but not all the restaurants are doing it like that. Perhaps they have a very sustainable food program, but then when it comes to wines, you have super conventional wines. So Francesco, how do you view this topic?
Yeah, I think that wine is an agricultural product. So making wine is like grow corn or a salad. So the impact on the soil has to be as much lighter as we can. And so low interventional wine are the only wine that can behave like that in the field. And it's not just a matter of health, of taste, but it's a matter of footprint on the planet. So we have to avoid chemicals, pesticide, and everything. So chemical wine is over, and just go with natural, low interventional. And
But I'm sure you got some complaints, no?
no,
You don't care.
no. No, yes, but they didn't report to me because I get mad and then
Also, the way he chooses the wine, it's very himself. I mean.
So I also want to ask you, because the topic is legacy, and perhaps this is like the last question, what do you want your legacy to be and legacy of Venissa to be?
I don't know, maybe an attitude towards the place where we live. So how we combine the food, the cooking, and a place. We will face in the future, in the very close future, more and more catastrophic climate events, like we saw in Valencia, because we are in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is very hot now, and so we will face this kind of events. And the way our cook, we can help this is to cook in a certain way. So it's the concept I want to give. We can do something we don't know, but at least we try to cook in a respectful way for the environment. What do you think, Francesco?
yeah, and train the people that work with us to do the same way they will open their own restaurant or when they will lead a different kitchen all around the world.
Is it hard to attract people to go to Venice to live there?
No,
Easy?
no, not
Is
so
it hard?
much.
Sorry.
Is it hard to attract people to go and live in Venice?
For working with
Yes.
us? No, we have many CVs, and we are succeeding in keeping people more than a few years. So we have to say we are happy about that.
I think we are struggling a bit with the service, but
With the service,
as all
yes,
the world,
but
so
as all people, all the world is struggling. Yeah.
One last question, okay, so what are your tips for Venice? If people go to Venice and they want to have a good time in Venice, they want to avoid the crowds, they want to avoid the tourist places, of course they eat at your place, but then what do you want to, where would you take them?
I think the best way to visit Venice is to get lost. Just jump from a bar to the other bar and meanwhile take a look around. And it's beautiful everywhere, so you can have a great time and see one of the most beautiful places in the world at the same time. And we have a word for that, and it's called Baccaro Tour. That means jump from a bar to the other bar, just walking and enjoy the beautiful city.
Of course, we have some places we love more, or some experience we love more, and I mean both natural wines, both more classic ones, and yeah. Do I have to say the names, or is it enough?
It's okay. People can ask later.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Francesco, Chiara, and Kaja or Kaja?
Kaja.
Kaja. So I was right at first. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have some souvenirs for you from Istanbul. Nothing big, nothing fancy.
Thank you.
Let's start with the ladies.
Okay.
Kaja,
Thank you.
Chiara, Francesco. Thank you
you.
very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.